U.S. became the first country to give full approval to Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine on Monday. And as we expected, the mandate should be rolling in no time. Biden is now calling on companies to do the dirty work for him. Watch.
Calling on more companies, I should say, in the private sector to step up with vaccine requirements that'll reach millions more people. If you're a business leader, a nonprofit leader, a state or local leader who has been waiting for full FDA approval to require vaccinations, I call on you now to do that. Require it. Do what I did last month. Require your employees to get vaccinated or face strict requirements.
Regardless if you're for or against the vaccine, this is complete government overreach. It's obvious. And he knows exactly what he's doing by putting businesses in this position. Join me now, co-founder and chief strategist at GDP Advisors, Seth Denson. Seth, thank you so much for joining me. So Seth, people are celebrating that the FDA finally approved the Pfizer vaccine. Okay, that's great. But what I'm worried about is the mandates that are probably coming. And, you know, there's a lot of reporters out there that are so eager to see the mandates that are going to be rolling out. Biden is trying to give companies some direction here. That is, he would like to see them checking people's vaccine passports when they go to their businesses. I mean, I think it's a huge burden for business. It's totally unconstitutional, and I know that there will be lawyers and constitutional scholars that defend it. But having to show a health vaccine passport to get into a store seems really outrageous to me.
Yeah, listen, history has proven that when people have to show certain paperwork before getting to do certain things, that doesn't usually bode well for society. So maybe let's back up a little bit and prevent that. Health-related issues should be a decision made between people and their doctor. I've said it on this show. I've said it to my friends, my family. Listen, I've gotten the vaccine. Why? Not because of peer pressure, not because of something I did or didn't read on Facebook. I did it because I talked to my doctor and I said, what do you think? By the way, the vast majority of doctors have gotten the vaccine, and for those that know doctors, you know that pretty much they have a God complex. So I think that was proof enough for me. But nonetheless, this shouldn't be a business-based decision. This shouldn't be a federal government decision. It should be a personal decision.
Yeah, and then you think about it, there are some businesses pushing back what's happening in New York City, which is the businesses are required to check people's vaccine passports, and businesses are speaking out saying this is a burden for us, like we shouldn't have to be the health police. And it's just one more thing after 15 days of flatten the curve to a year and a half of complete and total nonsense. These businesses that were lucky enough to survive now have to deal with this. It's just another hurdle. It never ends. And then we saw, I played it earlier in the show, Dr. Fauci's talking about how maybe things might get back to normal in like spring of 2022, but I have a feeling that the goalposts will be shifted once again, probably through fall, maybe longer.
Things are exactly the same until they change again, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the reality of life. We've all been, listen, we recognize this is a novel coronavirus. We're all in this together, whether we want to be or not. We're all living through this. And the lack of clarity and the lack of consistency is a challenge. It's a challenge to business owners. It's a challenge to patrons. It's a challenge to parents who are sending their kids back to school and now have to decide, well, wait a minute, do I believe my governors? Do I believe my local leaders? Do I believe my doctors? Again, it's mass chaos and it's unnecessary. I don't know how this became the political football, but we need to get it out of politics and back into healthcare. That's where this belongs. Let's get the bureaucrats out of it.
Absolutely. I want to shift gears here. I'm sure you've been keeping a close eye on the housing market, and people are wondering if there's a bubble and if it's about to burst.
Yeah, I tend to think that it's getting there, and I say that because we study history and economics, right? And just this last month in July, we posted the greatest number of new construction homes since July of 2007. Well, that sounds great, except for those of us that lived through 2008. And remember what that that new construction brought us. This is a combination of monetary policy combined with lockdowns that are sending people into the suburbs, specifically into hotbed areas, or I should say hot market areas. Like Texas, Arizona, not California, right? These are the things that are happening right now. And unless monetary policy shifts, which it will likely have to do, we're going to stay in this little bubble. But when it shifts, interest rates go up, cost of goods go down, we see mass production. Now, all of a sudden, those home prices that are inflated 25, 30, and in some cases 40% in certain markets, they're just not going to be there anymore.
Yeah, I'm not in the market for buying houses right now, but I'll check my neighborhood and I'll look and see how much the houses were last year and the year before and the year before that. And it is really incredible how much the prices have gone up, which is why home buyers right now, or people who were thinking about moving, are very hesitant to make that jump because they're wondering what the value of their home is going to be a few years later down the road.
Yeah, that's right. People need to be very cautious right now and work with a professional. Here's the reality. If you're thinking about refinancing your home, probably should go ahead and get that done. If you're in a home that you can't afford now, you probably ought to get out of it because it's probably not going to be an asset that's worth as much in the future. These are all things that people need to think about. And by the way, if you're thinking about that home and you're saying, hey, time is on my side, utilize that time to your advantage. Come 6, 12, 18 months, that house may be a lot less than it is right now.
Yeah. I want to shift gears here and ask you about this. This has been an ongoing debate for a couple of years now, but it looks like Uber and Lyft got hit by Prop 22. And apparently, Uber's existing shareholders are going to sell about 25.3 million shares because of it. So originally, you could just be an independent worker, and California has completely shot that down, or a judge did.
Yeah, and add Uber and Lyft to likely companies that'll leave the state of California as a result of this. Listen, California voters overwhelmingly passed Prop 22, which said this is gig economy, but these gig workers don't have to be employees. This was following a law put in place by California that said they did have to be employees, which by and large Uber drivers and Lyft drivers didn't want to be. They don't want to be employees. They want to go out, be independent contractors, work when they want to work, make money when they want to make it. But no, the government knows best, and now we've got a judge out of California that's utilizing the Constitution to try to push this through. And as a result, you're going to have people that stop driving for Uber and Lyft. They're going to leave the state of California, and now Californians are going to be left to pay the price.
Yeah, you think about what happens if they leave California, then and a lot of people became dependent on these ride share apps. And it's going to be a lot more complicated because people got used to it, and it's been a service used for many, many years.
Yeah, and it's become a really great way for people to make some extra disposable income or even extra income to offset these massive inflationary prices that we're seeing, right? So again, all of this works together, and it'll be sad to see what the outcome is. This will get appealed, and it'll be interesting to see as it makes its way through the courts what happens.
Yeah, we'll be keeping a close eye on it. That's for sure. And I know a lot of people seem to care about this, and as they should. Well, Seth, we're going to leave it here. Thank you.
Thanks, Steph.